Good morning. I'm thinking about oranges today. Orange, really, orange juice is the reason why we have orange oil in plentiful supply. Pretty much without the juice business, we wouldn't have the essential as a byproduct of really fresh fruit and juice. If you look at oranges in particular, when growers produce oranges, their highest value is in the fresh fruit. They get more from the fresh fruit selling it to market than they do just about anything. So the fresh fruit, the pretty fresh fruit, the pretty navel fruit, the pretty juicy oranges, all those beautiful oranges go to the fresh fruit market, and a grower can get more for a beautiful piece of fresh fruit than he can one that is inferior. Generally, oranges that can't be sold to the fresh fruit market are used, and they're called processing fruits. And what you mean by processing fruit is they further process the fruit. And the second thing of value that orange producers sell their processing fruit to is to process to produce juice. Juice is the second product that comes from oranges that has the next sort of highest value in the value chain. They produce a lot of it, of course. They squeeze out gobs of, boxes of orange oil, oranges produced around the world, and they have to get the juice out of it. And that juice sometimes gets sold to companies who just, put it into a fresh fruit package. They don't concentrate it. It's just comes from in a fresh fruit bottle, and we're lucky to have that these days. When I was a kid, we didn't have that. We got to drink orange juice from concentrate, and orange juice from concentrate is a pretty bitter product because when they evaporate the water from the juice in evaporators, they're also evaporating off really belong to the orange juice. We've learned since to recapture those beautiful aromatic materials in the form of what's called orange essence oil from the juice processing, and that essence oil is used for other. But pretty much, if you think about oranges, they squeeze all the pork from the pig. It doesn't matter if it's the fresh fruit for the highest value, the juice for the second highest value, the oil for the third highest value. They process the peels and take limonene, technical grade limonene, out of that, and pellets for animal feed. They process the seeds, they process the pulp. All the products that come from an orange are available. And that goes to not just the orange, but when they or the juice or the peel or the pith or whatever. But there's oil flavor materials that come from different parts of the orange processing. One is cold pressed orange oil, what we call single fold. Oftentimes it's produced from the peel of the oranges, either pre or post juicing, depending on the type of equipment. But the interesting thing is we basically express this single fold or crude or, orange sweet out of the peel. It gets filtered and put into drums and qualified and blended into, what we end up getting in drums or totes or even tankers from orange processors to be further used in the single fold orange oil. Generally comes in, it's qualified, it has a chemistry. The highest or the largest key component is something we call sometimes, and then into some of the main high valued aromatic components, aldocynin, valin, the high impact. And when we bring orange oil in, we're looking to be sure that the arrangement of chemistry is there. High quality flavors are high or sell or produce high. But sometimes we reprocess as well as other citrus oils to concentrate oil and raise the levels of the high impact of the product. And we do that limonene and other high boiling terp fraction. most orange oil is distilled, fractionated, and turned into a concentration of 5. Think about it this way: if you put in 5, take off 4, what's left? 5. 5 is quite extensive. It has a much bigger products, and it's often chosen for those types of projects where limonene and orange terpenes are also used extensively. They're just used in flavor and fragrance in a different way. But we talked a little bit about the essence oil that comes from juice, which is really interesting because essence oil contains really interesting aromatic molecules, taste fresh and sweet, and things higher from, not really extracted, but separated from the evaporative waters that are coming from concentrated orange juice. And I think it's one of the coolest things about our industry is how they've learned to get really, really tasty, natural aromatic molecules from all processes, the juicing process or even the field process. You know, if they can extract something interesting or find something interesting that has high impact a plant, we found a way to do it. But interesting enough, we've definitely, and orange oil is, well, it's relatively simple essential oil. It's very complex in how it's used in cleaning processes. One of the best solve your carcass. It'll strip the paint right off of it. Um, you know, sometimes skin sensitizing. Really, you have to be careful around limonene and orange oil. But you know, what would we do without oranges? I mean, we have wonderful juice to drink that now tastes really, really good in the market because not only do we have fresh juice to use today, or if it comes from a concentrate, it can be reconstituted with a totally natural flavor called FTNF flavor. From, if you look at a bottle that says not for concentrate, or even if it comes from concentrate and you pour it in the glass and you drink it, it is no longer bitter. It tastes like orange juice, maybe slightly off of fresh squeezed orange juice, but still very tasty. And some people may argue that certain box juices taste better than a bitter character that just is no longer there. And because we have great flavor chemists and great natural raw materials to use from all parts, peel, or byproducts from making concentrated materials or the concentrated oils themselves, the flavor chemist or the perfumer have wonderful tools in orange product. And I find that rather than just using single fold orange oil on a product, you can juice up concentrated oranges. You can make it last a little longer in a finished product. All kinds of cool extractions that come from orange oil, or even compounds that are created by great flavor chemists and companies turn a single fold orange oil into something that is that may otherwise not work using just the straight material. So I just felt like talking about orange oil today. I think it's a great essential oil. Again, a byproduct oil. We really wouldn't have it today if there wasn't such a great fruit and fresh products, because ultimately orange oil, everything that comes from orange oil, everything that comes is ultimately a value-added byproduct in our world. But what value? Try and enjoy a glass. You think about what it really takes into a glass as taste, and how interesting our world of natural and fragrant, all these wonderful molecules that we have. Oil that comes in a drum, filtered from a producer for whatever use it is, all the way to a 30-fold orange oil or a sesquiterpene, all kinds. Have a great morning.